Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Hero Talk, and Captain Marvel is confirmed to be an origin story. So, since we were introduced to Black Panther and Spider-Man in Civil War very briefly, people might wonder about how Captain Marvel is introduced in the MCU. So, is it an origin story or not? And recently, Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, gave an interview to the topic of origin stories. And when he was asked about how he sees origin stories, he said, Black Panther is not really an origin story since we saw him already in Civil War, but his standalone certainly introduces you to 90% of his world that you never saw. And Captain Marvel is certainly an origin. It's an origin story from the start. So what he said to Black Panther is actually expected just because we were introduced into him in Civil War, and it's just obvious that we won't see an origin story in Black Panther just because it wouldn't make sense since he was already there for Civil War, and we did get to see how he became the Black Panther and the King of Wakanda. So a recap of this wouldn't be necessary. But still, it remains to explore the culture of Wakanda, as Kevin Feige says. But he actually confirms here that Captain Marvel will be an actual origin story from the beginning on. So yeah, this is actually strange to me, or I didn't expect this, just because I thought that Captain Marvel would be introduced briefly in Avengers Infinity War Part 1, and then in her own movie would deal with something else, or she would pursue Thanos in her movie. I don't know, just because it is between the first and the second Infinity War. And yeah, I thought that they would introduce her already in Infinity War, but apparently it is different. Apparently they planned on making a full origin story in Captain Marvel. If this means that we won't get to see Captain Marvel in Infinity War at all, I don't know. I mean, he says it's an origin story from the start, so we might expect to see her the first time in her own movie. But what this could... this is... for me, this is not excluding the fact that she might appear in Infinity War, but if she appears, certainly without her powers, so she will only appear as Carol Danvers, but not as Captain Marvel. But it's certainly great to have an origin story for Captain Marvel. She's a great character, and she definitely needs a solo movie that cares only about her. I'm pretty glad with it. I'm totally on board with this idea, but tell me what you guys think about this in the comments. And as usual, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe for more.